Hello students, today we started chapter 3rd, that is consumer equilibrium utility analysis. Okay, so in this chapter we learn about the utility, types of utility, and the law of diminishing marginal utility, the concept of consumer equilibrium, and some numerical basis. Okay, so first thing, question is arise, what is utility? So utility means that for consumption of any goods and services leads some satisfaction. Okay, so the satisfaction that we consume is called utility. Okay, suppose that we consume a cup of a tea and we get some satisfaction from this. So this satisfaction is called the utility from a cup of tea. Okay, that means the satisfaction consumed by any customer or a consumer after taking or consume some goods and services. So that satisfaction is called utility about those goods and services. Okay, so utility refer to the satisfaction derived from the consumption of a commodity and power of a commodity. Okay, so for measuring or for defining utility, several economists give their point of views. So here we learn about the Marshall theory and Hicks theory. Okay, so according to the Marshall theory, he believed that we measure satisfaction in term of cardinals number, that is cardinal numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so he says according to Marshall theory that we measure the satisfaction in term of cardinal numbers. Okay, suppose already we take an example of cup of tea. So when we consume a cup of tea, so we express our utility or our satisfaction in number of units, that is 1 cup of tea, 2 cup of tea, 3 cup of tea, and so on. Okay, so this type of measurement of satisfaction is called cardinal measurement of utility. Okay, then according to Mr. Hicks theory, he believed that the satisfaction can only be measured or expressed in terms of rank. That means it cannot be expressed in unit, but it can be expressed in rank. Okay, suppose that we say that a cup of tea give you more satisfaction than a cup of coffee. So this is called the ordinal or measurement of the utility. That means we can express the term or the utility in term of rank. That means there is rank are coffee and tea. Okay, so according to them, there are two types of utility. That means marginal utility and total utility. Okay, first thing is marginal utility. Marginal utility means that additional unit on account of consumption of an additional unit of an commodity. Okay, that means when we consume one more addition of any commodity or a goods. Okay, so the additional unit or the addition of the commodity is called marginal utility. Okay, so suppose we take an example that 10 units of a commodity satisfy you about 100 utility. Okay, we consume 10 units and they can be satisfy us about 100. Okay, and if we take one more unit, that means 11 units, so we can satisfy 105 utility. Okay, that means if we increase the one unit, okay, number of unit 1, if we increase, then our utility will be increased about 5. Okay, that means the marginal utility, that means the additional utility of consumption, one more unit is equal to 105 minus 100 equals to 5 utility. Okay, so this is called the marginal utility. Okay, when we consume one more unit and according to them our number of utilities increase, how much it will be increased, then it is called marginal utility. Okay, then total utility. So total utility means that sum of the total of utility, okay, derived from the different types of consumption according to all units of a commodity. Okay, suppose we consume two units of a commodity, in which first unit satisfy you 10 utility and second unit satisfy you 9 utility. Then the total utility of these two units is 10 plus 9 equals to 19. So this was total utility. Okay, so I hope you understand both of these utilities, total utility and marginal utility. Let's learn it with an example. Okay, so here an question that the total utility of an individual is given. Okay, so write his marginal utility. So in question there is two things, that unit and total utility. Okay, unit 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and total utility is 0, 15, 28, 40, 51 and 61. We have to find out marginal utility among them. Okay, so here we draw two columns, unit and total utility. Now we have to draw third column, that is marginal utility. Okay, so on first unit is 0 and total utility is also 0 because we don't consume anything. Okay, so here the marginal utility is nil. Okay, and secondly unit we consume 1 unit. Okay, and it get us total utility 15. Okay, so our marginal utility is also 15. On second unit the total utility is 28, then marginal utility is 13. That means what we get more satisfaction by increasing 1 unit. So on the second unit we get 15 utility, and on the we get 28 on second unit, and from first unit we get 15 utility. Okay, so the marginal utility is 28 minus 15, that is 13, what was increased by consuming 1 more unit. Okay, so next, when the unit is 3, then the utility is 40. So the marginal utility is 40 minus 28, that is 12. That means by increasing 1 more unit the 12 utility is increased. Okay, so this was the difference between marginal and total utility. Okay, the next thing is that the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, this law explains us that why the marginal utility is diminished or decreasing, why it is not increased. Okay, so this is because when we take any commodity, suppose we are so hungry. Okay, so at that time our utility is 100. Okay, and when we take 1 chapati, then after consuming 1 chapati our utility is decreased, that means it comes to 80. And whenever we take more and more eatable items like chapati, so according to that's why our marginal utility is diminished rapidly. Okay, and after some time a point is arise at point where we don't have to eat anything. Okay, because our utility is completed. Okay, and we are satisfied. So at this state, that as more and more unit of a commodity are consumed, then marginal utility derived from every individual unit must be declined. Okay, it is happen because it's respect of all goods and services. That means therefore called fundamental law of satisfaction or fundamental psychological law. Okay, so accordingly every successive unit of a commodity offer less and less satisfaction. It means marginal utility. Okay, so the decrease as consumption of the commodity increase. So whenever the number of commodity is increased, then according to it the marginal utility is rapidly decrease. Okay, so this was the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so this law have two basic assumptions, that only standard unit of a commodity are consumed, like a cup of tea, not a spoon of tea. Okay, suppose first time we take a cup of tea, okay, so then we get more satisfaction, and second time if we get a half cup of tea or a spoon of tea, then we can't take satisfaction just like first unit. Okay, so the assumption is that the standard unit of a commodity is to be consumed. Okay, secondly, consumption of a commodity is continued, not then more one unit of a commodity is consumed and now the other is tomorrow. That means if we have to satisfy our utility, so then we have to consume the commodities continuously. That means suppose if we take if we are hungry and we take one cup of one chapati, okay, sorry, one chapati, and we get some satisfaction. Okay, so for ending up our hungriness, so for it we have to take another chapati at same time. Okay, if we take a time interval between these two consumption, these two chapatis, then our utility is not decreased. Okay, that means we can't satisfy. Okay, so these are the two assumptions of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So the next thing is arise that concept of consumer equilibrium. That means consumer equilibrium means it is a point of maximum satisfaction under when spending his income according across different goods. So in the other words we can say that the consumer is an equilibrium when allotted his given income to the purchase of different goods in such a manner that his total satisfaction is maximized. Suppose you went to shopping. Okay, you have list is about 10 to 20 items. Okay, and your income is only 2000. Okay, so you have to purchase all these items in 2000 rupees. Okay, so for it, first of all you purchase those items which give you more and more satisfaction, or you have more and more needed. Okay, then secondly you purchase another thing who get some less satisfaction comparison of first satisfaction items. Okay, so this type of concept is called consumer equilibrium. Okay, then marginal utility analysis and consumer equilibrium. So that means how much of the commodity a consumer buy so that he get maximized satisfaction and attain the point of equilibrium. So this is discussed with reference of two situations. Okay, one situation is one commodity case and second is two commodity case. Okay, suppose purchase of a commodity by a consumer depend on the price of a commodity, then marginal and total utility of commodity and marginal utility of a money. That means suppose we have to purchase any commodity or any item. Okay, but we are choose it according to the price of a commodity. Okay, not even the quality or availability of a goods, but according to the price of a commodity. So this type of commodity, the marginal and total utility of commodity, is according to the money. Okay, based on the money. Second is two commodity case. That means several commodities. So in this case, when a consumer is buying commodity X and Y, okay, so with his given income, how will he strike his equilibrium is depend on income and utility of different type of goods. That means here his utility is depend upon the types of goods. That means from which goods he get more and more satisfaction, not even with the money but also the use of the commodity. Suppose a person have choice to purchase tea and coffee both. Okay, so first of all, what he want to purchase, those product give him more satisfaction. Suppose he love to drink tea. Okay, so he firstly prefer tea. Okay, so this was called a consumer equilibrium according to the marginal utility. Okay, so for consumer equilibrium there are some assumption or conditions also arise. So assumptions means the utility can be expressed in the cardinal numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that means if we have to purchase more and more product, then we can express it according to the cardinal numbers. That means number 1 goods, second number goods, third number goods. Okay, and marginal utility of money remain constant. That means if we went to market with 2000 rupees, then we have to cover all the shopping items under 2000. Okay, that means the money is to be constant. The law of diminishing marginal utility hold goods. That means we can purchase those things firstly which get us more and more satisfaction. Okay, that means the law of diminishing marginal utility on the goods are holded. And consumer behave rationally and aim at the maximizes satisfaction. That means consumer, that means we have to know that we can get or purchase those type of goods from which we get more and more satisfaction and maximize satisfaction. Okay, so these are the some assumptions for the consumer equilibrium. There are some conditions also apply on them, that price of the satisfaction should be the same across all goods purchased by the consumer and equal to the marginal utility of a money. And marginal utility of money remain the constant. Okay, so these are the two conditions. Let's be take an example. Mr. X consumed two commodities A and B whose price are 6 and 8 respectively. Okay, so does Mr. X strike his equilibrium when he is getting marginal utility of A is 7 and B is also 7. Okay, that means in this case Mr. X can consume two type of commodities, A and B. A commodities have 6 rupees and B commodities have 8 rupees. Okay, so Mr. X has equilibrium when he get marginal utility from A is 7 and from B is also 7. Okay, so which type of commodity is to be striked? So the Mr. X strike equilibrium when MU, that means marginal utility of A, divided by PA, that means the price of commodity A, is equal to marginal utility of B, that means MUB, divided by PB, that means price of the B. Okay, we assume that these are equal. So here we write the marginal utility of A is 7 and price is 6, that means 7 divided by 6 equal 7 by 8, that means marginal utility of B is 7 and price is 8. Okay, but both of these are not equals, that means we can sign it cross. Okay, so here 7 upon 6 is greater than 7 upon 8, that means both of them cannot be equal. So that is Mr. X has not strike his equilibrium. Okay, understand?